Hey guys, it's day 12. Been a few days since I made a video. Would like to be able to make one every day, but it's only when the creative muse hits me. Don't always feel like making a video, but some days it's like it just flows out of me, and I got 3 or 4, and then I can just sort of save those up and release them day by day. So today I want to talk about something that's been on my mind, that's been kind of bothering me, but I just wanted to share it with everybody in the world of nutrition and health and things like that. There's a lot of conflicting information out there. There's a lot of experts, and a lot of the things that the experts say don't agree with each other. And some people get very caught up in dogma about one particular philosophy or diet or something like that. And this really pertains to knowledge in general, but I think in the context of diet is the best way to explain it, where some people are like, well, Doug Graham says, or, well, Durian Ryder says, or, well, Rip Esselstyn says, or so-and-so, or, this particular study or that particular guru says this thing, and it's like people get so caught up in like wanting absolute truths and wanting to debate various conflicts of concepts, and they just get so caught up in this they lose the forest through the trees, and they can't deal with any sort of ambiguity of like two things could possibly be right, and I'm at a loss to come up with examples, but it's like I remember I saw somebody post on 30 Bananas a Day one time, well, I am evangelical Christian, and I want to know how this can be right if in the Bible it says that God grants man dominion over animals, so on and so forth. I don't really know the Bible that well. And someone said, well, it also says in the Bible that God created the fruit of the vine, so on and so forth, and that was man's food, and it was perfect. And so this guy said, oh, okay, and it was like he'd been given another like robot line to recite, because it was like as long as it was from the Bible, that was like it was right to him. It didn't matter if it conflicted with another thing in the Bible. It's just like he had to have his little line that he could parrot to himself and his other friends that were in the same paradigm, and just never really think for himself. It's just like, well, the Bible says this, and I'm not an expert in the Bible by any means, but I think that there's plenty of contradictions in the Bible. I've seen videos about it, and all these verses will say different things. Like apparently there's two different stories of how Judas died, which I don't even really know what they are. I think one, he hung from a tree, and the other one is like guts burst out of his stomach or something. There's all this contradictory information, but people are just like, I don't want to think about how it contradicts itself. I just want to know the right answer, or I just want a source that I can say is the absolute truth and just go by that. And the truth is that there is no absolute truth, and that there is ambiguity, and that there is conflict, and you kind of got to embrace it to a certain degree. And I think that when you get caught up in dogma, you can really lose the forest through the trees. And I think that you can make a lot more progress with yourself if you're willing to listen to opinions and ideas from people who disagree with you. In fact, when I first started Raw Foods, from Dan McDonald videos, remember I met other people who were into raw foods, and it was all like the high-fat, magic woo-woo mushroom superfoods crowd. And they'll be like, oh, well, you can't eat too much fruit because it'll just ferment in your stomach and turn to alcohol. You really can't overdo it on the fruit. It's like the main mistake all the raw foodists make is in the beginning is try to eat too much fruit and not enough vegetables and nuts and, magic potions. Of course, they didn't say that, but I'm just exaggerating here. So I thought, oh, okay, well, yeah, I don't want to do that. And then I remember finding a Mike Arnstein video on the internet, the fruitarian, and all he mostly ate was fruit and some vegetables. And I'm like, well, how does that work? Because they all said that can't eat too much fruit. It'll turn to alcohol in your stomach. And this guy's like running 100-mile races. Like, what's up with that? And so I was pretty convinced that, that this was, Mike Arnstein was some kind of scam or something. But I was like, well, you know what? I will buy the 80-10-10 book, and I will read it, and I'll probably think it's a load of shit and terrible, but I want to read it just so I can understand the viewpoint and at least be able to refute it if people bring it up. And so I read it with this mindset of like that I was not going to believe anything in it, and that I was going to think it was total crap. And I was blown away because it ended up being just this really good book, had all kinds of scientific basis and knowledge for everything that it said. And I was like, wow, I started this book thinking it was going to be, just total disinformation and nonsense, and it actually made more sense than anything I had read in the 6 months that I had been into raw foods. And so that was like a huge paradigm shift for me. And I think just in general, I think a lot of the things that have had a huge impact on my life have been things that I, in the beginning, wasn't so sure about, but wanted to check out just to be sure. I think a lot of people are so afraid of their narrow little mindset being shattered that they won't read or listen to anyone who has anything to the contrary to say. And I think that if you're really secure in your beliefs, then you wouldn't mind hearing contrary opinions because you're so sure in yours anyway. Why would there be any concern about hearing an opposing viewpoint? Personally, I've got a few friends in the paleo movement, which, that's like this rivalry that's been going on for a few years now, like paleo versus vegans. And, vegans have all their snarky things they say about the paleo community, and the paleo community has all their snarky things they say about vegans. And I definitely like to get down in that ditch sometimes. I mean, with the Raw Vegan Hulk, I make fun of paleo all the time. It's easy comedy, fodder for comedy, but so is vegans. I like to make fun of vegans too. But there's a lot I've learned from them. They know a lot about exercise, especially strength training. I can disagree with them on diet and still read books and watch videos, listen to podcasts about strength training and exercise, and learn a hell of a lot. And when I combine how they exercise with how I eat, the results are fantastic. So I guess what I'm saying is keep an open mind, be willing to deal with ambiguity and conflicting sets of information. Don't hold anything as the absolute true north truth. And be willing to challenge your own belief and your own thoughts. That's the only way that there's going to be progress. And if you really are firm in your own beliefs and the way you do things, then there shouldn't be any problem listening to a conflicting viewpoint, because you would be able to refute it. So I think this also keeps us out of the trenches and the ditches of getting into stupid arguments with people over the internet, debating useless points, and just creating more negativity when what we really need is positivity. And we're doing this whole health and fitness thing to be happier, so why not do that? Anyway, that is my rant for today. Hope y'all are doing well. The sun has finally come out, and I feel great. Take care, guys.